Hey friends, we are so glad to be here with you guys this Friday morning, and I've got some awesome news for you. Well, it's exciting for me. I'll tell you a little bit, but it's good news for those of you who might relate with me, you might consider yourself a late bloomer. Anyways, tell us where you're coming in from. Who is here with me today?
We got Tony Carter from.
No. You first. You're here.
Oh, oh yeah, I'm here. My name's Peter. I'm everybody knows me, obviously. So
Peter's in the house. Peter's in the house. I see Nancy's here. Nancy from the Mississippi River. All right. Diana from Central Texas. Port-au-Prince, Haiti. Oh, man. Andrew, welcome. Renee was mentioning that she had emailed a little bit with you. That's awesome. So cool. Shannon from British Columbia, Birch Island. I don't know where that is. Peter is here. Yes. Did you see that one? I love it. And the 3 in there, dude.
Yeah, welcome everybody. So glad to have you for another kickoff week.
Yeah. Super, super fun to be together. So what are you guys drinking today? Do you guys have a coffee in hand? I seriously was just like about to make a coffee, and I just ran out of a little bit of time, but I'm going to get one right after I'm done here. So yeah, Winter Park, Karen, Lisa from Alberta. Peter, why don't you read some of those out?
Yeah, Chris from Colorado. Susan Eckert from Montana. Hey, Susan. I'm Diana from Albany, New York. Winnipeg.
Coffee. I love it.
Manitoba, Canada. Big coffee. Nice. Joan is also drinking coffee. Got some coffees out there.
Yes. I'm
Lisa Raymer, I'm riding.
Bike.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's so cool.
That's multitasking. I love it.
That is
Peter, do you remember during the masterclass, I remember somebody saying that they were watching or listening while they were walking their dogs. Do you remember that?
I do remember that, yeah.
That was awesome.
So cool. People will find a way.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, Helen from Florida, Patty from Waynesville, North Carolina. Is that NC? North Carolina. Okay, I couldn't tell if that was an exclamation mark or an I. So, well, hey, I wanted to show you guys something here because this really encouraged me this morning. I thought I'm going to share this with y'all, and you can chime in a little bit. But you know what these are? These are incredibly tasty grape tomatoes, and they're from our own plants right out in the backyard. And here's the funny thing about these tomatoes. We had them all summer long growing, thinking that they were going to create this at the end of the summer. And they didn't. They just were green. I don't know what it was with the weather, if it was too cold or what. We were just going, oh man, like we're not going to get anything off of these tomato plants. And Renee was pretty discouraged with it. And then I don't know when it started, but it was really late. It was like October when we first got the first ones off of it, but what's crazy is Renee just picked these this morning. It's still producing fruit, and it's not warm anymore here. It's not like it's the middle of the summer or even fall. It's like getting towards, I guess it's still fall, but it's getting cold. And there have been days when I'm like, okay, we obviously have picked the last of the tomatoes now, but then we go back out there and there's another, bunch of tomatoes there. And I just want to say this as an encouragement to you, because if you're like me, I feel like, man, there have been times in my life when I'm like, I'm too old. I can't do this. I'm past my prime. I'm too late of a bloomer. I wish that I could, say that I had started this when I was really young, all that. But this is encouragement for us to say, you know what? There's still time to produce a great harvest. And there's still time. Like, you are not too late. And wherever you're at, I know that was an encouragement to me, because I have felt like that. Sometimes I look back at things that I didn't do, or wishing that I'd tried a little harder at certain things in my life, and realize, like, I feel like I'm just now getting into what I really love to do and what I really am passionate about, and it's easy to regret things. So anyways, quick thing to say: be encouraged. There is amazing growth for you, and you can be like that tomato plant that's just like keeps on putting out those awesome tomatoes. So, okay. Yes, Grandma Moses, Joan Hitchcock. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, probably Nancy. Cold has a different definition, but there's been frost, and there's been days when it's been frozen, and that was like what made me think these tomatoes are gonna be dead, right?
Yeah.
But they haven't. So super awesome. Okay, well, I'm going to get going here. We've got an awesome day here, and I'm going to just start showing you what we're going to do. So here we are. I'm going to just go through the schedule like I did last time, so you have a little bit of an idea of what's coming up. We're going to do our 30-minute miniature painting demonstration, and then we're going to have a bit of a Q&A. So if you're here and you got questions, or you need a little bit of insight, or it could be about anything, just keep that, and I'll answer things at the end. I'll also try to answer things, and we want to just be done by 10:05. So next week we've got Farley Lewis coming, and he's going to be here live with us, but we're also going to share a short little demo. So this is kind of just a bonus demo from him that he did, and it relates to the Fields and Farms kind of theme that we have going on. And he's a great artist that really does a lot of those kinds of scenes. I don't know if you've looked at his work, but rural scenes, beautiful pastoral kind of landscapes, and so that's gonna be super cool. And he'll be here live with us also. So if you have questions for him, make sure you're there. Of course, we've got this incredible workshop coming again from Diana, who, if you were able to participate last time with her, how thorough she is and how incredible that is. So Peter, what was it like last time?
Oh, it was amazing. I mean, yeah, just like always with Diana's lessons and workshops and stuff, they're just so informative and awesome. So yeah, no, it was a lot of fun.
Totally. I know. I watched most of it. I was supposed to be doing other work, but I just couldn't pull myself away because I'm like having so much fun watching, listening, and seeing you guys in there. So super fun. Then, of course, we've got Thanksgiving this month, right? So we're all kind of excited. If you're Canadian, you're like, oh, I already celebrated Thanksgiving, but this is the American version of our Thanksgiving. And it's going to be on Thursday, November 25th. So we're kind of thinking, well, we're not going to do a live thing on that Friday, but we will do our normal release of the critiques, and we're going to do those critiques that week. So that will still happen, but we just won't do the live, kind of look at the critiques that day. But on Tuesday, November 30th, we're going to have our end of the month celebration. So kind of in lieu of a Friday night live, we're going to do this on Tuesday, that following Tuesday. So that's November 30th. And that'll be a lot of fun. Again, you don't want to miss that. We'll be giving out prizes. It'll be a celebration, and it'll be a great time.
Yeah.
Right, Peter?
Yep.
I mean, these times are awesome. Okay. So what I want to do is I just kind of want to walk through some pictures, just hopefully to kind of inspire you, and maybe like, I don't know if I'm really going to point out anything that interesting, but these are just some scenes that I painted of fields and farms, this whole theme. And one of the things that I like about fields often is that you get these patterns, you get rows, you get like this kind of radiating line, it kind of lends itself towards that design. If you know that idea of radiating lines, like where all these things are kind of leading towards the same, focal area. But it doesn't have to be straight lines, right? Like sometimes they've got a little bit of a curve to them. There's also a lot of fields have ditches and stuff like that. And that's something that if you look at my work, I mean, I love because they're often like right next to the road. So you like stop your car, get out, look at the ditch. The ditch will give you all these reflections and cool stuff. And I have some other ones that I could have put in here, but I decided not to because I might use them for different illustrations sometime. But then you just have these, like, I don't know, this is close to where we live, where you have the backdrop of the mountains. But, even if you don't have that exact thing, I mean, you have these barns and these fields. And one of the things that I was thinking about kind of talking about here is just this idea of how do you create depth? I'm not going to go into this too much, but I'll show you in a second on one of Farley's paintings. It's a good example of what I'm trying to get at. But then you also have like these cool, like barns and farms have interesting stuff on them, right? Like, and I feel like one time, this was from a time, remember Peter? You were here with me. Remember Peter with Amy Erickson on that farm?
Yeah.
Anyways,
Oh yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah, so this was just like this. I feel like we could have painted, 20 different scenes just standing in one spot, like looking in all the directions that there were. And this was just happened to be looking back. I didn't have time to paint it because we're painting the other direction, but I took a picture. And you can find this if you go into your membership and you go into the library and you go to, what is that one? I think it's called Barns and Structures or something like that. In the landscape modules, you can actually do this demonstration in there. But it's always interesting. I feel like farms are interesting. This was a farm back in Ohio that I did a commission for, and they had these cool photographs from way back. But this is what I want to show you real quick. Okay, so when you're painting something that has like this distance, one of the things that's so helpful here is, how do you portray something that's far away versus something that's close without like painting every little thing, right? And one of the things that I'll point out here is how Farley did such a great job here. He's got some detail. Like there's a little bit of detail right here, but not a ton. Like it's not like every blade of grass, but he's defined enough things in that he can totally get away with this right here. Do you see this big brush mark right here? It's just like one big brush mark where he dragged his dry brush across and just kind of created this texture in there. But I think that this is what makes a painting like this so great, is that it's got this really great variety between being totally loose, a little bit of refined detail, and then these bold brush marks like this that's dry and soft, and you can see the how big these hay bales are here, obviously compared to these ones in the background, and these are diminished in their values. Like this one here is kind of dark, but these ones up here are much darker. And then as it goes back, it all gets further away. And so anyways, Diana will talk more about, I don't know what she's going to talk about exactly, but you'll get more insight into all of this with her.
Mm-hmm.
But here's another one of Farley's that I just loved. I loved how like it's very muted, and the colors are not loud and in your face, but I love it. And I love like this kind of thing over here where you have this lost edge on that roof over there. And then he because of these little gaps, this whole is one big shape of light value. And And so like if you're thinking about design, you want to kind of like keep your design simple. He did a great job of that. Anyways, I'm going to jump into resource photos here real quick. These are what you have inside of your journey. We put these in here for you for this month. This is a great scene. Obviously, lavender fields. We have lavender out in front of our house. I love it. I love smelling it. And I thought that this one would be a cool one you can do in a square format. If I was doing a different demo today, I would probably choose this one on a square little 6x6 format. This is also a super awesome scene that I've driven past hundreds of times. I love it so much. There's mountains in the background, and I love this kind of contrast between the shadows and the light. And you might want to like rearrange, do something a little, tweak on that, but that's a super cool scene that I've always wanted to paint. This is a beautiful scene. I don't actually know where this is from. This is one of the images that I found because I was trying to like find cool scenes of this distance in field and some variety. And I love how hilly this is and how the colors get all kind of bluish and muted back there. Isn't that cool, Peter?
Yeah, it almost looks like it's from another country, honestly.
I think it probably is. That's what my guess is like.
Yeah, it looks like New Zealand or like.
Well, and it kind of looks like Italy to me, but like I've never been there, so like I don't know. This is close by though. This is actually right around the corner, kind of by. Well, there's a cool valley here, and this is what we're going to be kind of painting. This is the reason I wanted to paint this, guys, is because it's a magical evening that is in my head from it. So I'm going to jump onto the actual demonstration here so that we can stay on task and stay on time. But we've got this cool scene. I'll tell you a little bit about it as we get going. Now, I told you guys that I was going to do it on a dark surface. Today, I decided to not do totally black. But if you have black, it's no biggie. Like if you're going to paint along with me, black is totally fine. What I've been kind of having fun with recently, though, is having a little bit of color. So if if I was going to use black, I probably would have mixed a little bit of red in with it and just kind of gone. I have titanium white, Mars black. I have my yellow. This is a little cadmium orange. This is a similar color to what I would normally have, except that I kind of ran out of my normal quinacridone red. So I kind of mixed quinacridone magenta with a different like lighter one. So it's pretty dang close, but it's a little bit different. And of course, ultramarine blue. And so I'm going to have fun with this. Now, I need to start the timer so that we're accurate with our life here, right? Are you guys ready? Okay, I'm ready too. Let's go. So this was a really fun evening that we had. Renee and Willow and I went over to a friend's house, and they live on a farm, and they have these fields. And this is what, like, magically, I was just like, I gotta paint that because they have these sunflowers, and I was just like totally enamored with them as we're walking through their fields, looking back towards the sunset. So I'm gonna kind of like, is the reference photo in a good place or a bad place, Peter? Does it need to?
Looks okay to me right now.
It's not under the live thing on YouTube?
No.
Okay, cool. Awesome. I just wasted a little time. So I'm going to start with getting some of my basic shapes. Just kind of try to do this. Try to do this here.
Joan Bennett asks, is that background color mixed purple or is it the dioxazine violet?
No, it's mixed. That one is a mixed purple. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it's pretty close to dioxazine violet because it gets pretty dark with this mix, but it is not dioxazine violet. Okay. Yeah, feel free to ask any question. Peter will read them out to me, and I'll do my best to give you a good, coherent answer while I'm painting. As we all know, that can be kind of challenging for me, even in the best of circumstances. Hey, Peter, I was going to ask you for a huge favor.
Yeah, what's up?
Do you want to read that comment that we got that Renee shared?
Oh, yeah.
Because, yeah, just say a little bit about it and then read it out for us if you don't mind.
Yeah, so we had there was a post in Facebook the other day. There's a super encouraging post from a lady who joined Acrylic University, and as we said before, it can be hard like to feel like what we're doing matters and stuff like that. So anyway, we had this comment and she said, AU has changed my life in so many ways. 1, I look at the world through a whole different lens. 2, I got up at 5:30 a.m. twice this week just to paint. And 3, the AU community is the most supportive organization I have ever had the privilege to be a part of. Jed Dorsey is the best instructor I've ever had. AU support staff is amazing. That being said, I'm finally posting some pictures. Not where I want to be yet, but thrilled with the journey and the challenges each step brings. And so I just wanted to, read that out. That was encouraging for us, but also that should be encouraging to you guys because you guys help create that environment, that supportive community environment and stuff like that. So, we appreciate you guys and super proud of you all. And yeah.
Yeah. Now, was that Marilyn?
Yeah.
Marilyn. Yeah. Anyways, Marilyn, I don't know if you're watching, but thank you for sending that. It's super fun to read that and know that what we do is making a difference in your life and encouraging you. That really means so much to us to know that. So thanks for sharing.
Yeah, absolutely. Annie says hi from Phoenix. Hey, Annie.
Hi, Annie. Glad you're here. Yeah, so one of the things that's going to be fun were you going to say something, Peter?
You first.
Oh, I was just going to talk about this painting, but I really like the feeling of the cool. It's kind of like a cool evening feel, right? Like in some ways, but then there's a little bit of sunlight and it's washed out in the photograph more than it was in real life. So I'm going to kind of highlight it a little bit more, but you've got this really nice warmth from the setting sun back there. And so I'm kind of like thinking like to try to play on that a little bit, like the feeling of coolness kind of in the shadowy areas, but then also a little bit of that warmth from the sun, but then the warmth of these sunflowers. So that's all I was going to say, is just kind of excited about those things. What were you gonna say?
Yeah, Martha says, I do like the vibe of this painting too. It looks like a picture that was taken in the 70s or something like that. It gives me that vibe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm with you. Yeah, it's got a retro feel.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Martha says, is it possible for you and Diana to give the color index number with the paints that you use? I think it would help me if possible. Thanks.
Yeah. Ultramarine blue is pretty much straight across. Cadmium yellow light is the one that I'm actually using in here. It's cadmium free yellow light from Liquitex. It doesn't have a number, unfortunately. Like, I think it's because it is a mix. It's because it's cadmium free. It doesn't come with it. And this is normally I would use PV19 on this one. This is a mix that I made, but yes. And cadmium orange, I think I don't think that there's really a difference, but I'll read out what it says. It's PO20. PO20.
Linda Wilson, hi, I missed what you started with on your canvas. Can you advise? It's a purple mix.
Yeah, it's just my ultramarine blue, and this is kind of a little bit more like quinacridone magenta. It's a little bit darker than what I normally use, but it mixes a really deep violet. And quinacridone red, PV19, ultramarine blue, they would mix a really nice violet there too. I'm gonna put in a little bit of this back here. I'm probably gonna exaggerate. I need to decide on these values back there, but I kind of, and I'm gonna squish in. I'm realizing that like with the canvas the way it is, like if I was to frame a little painting like this, the canvas, the frame always comes over quite a ways. And so sometimes I forget about that and I don't squeeze things together quite enough. So I'm gonna try to bring this flower in a little bit further than what I had it. And we're just kind of laying in the darks and the midtones right now, even though some of the colors might be like I'm using orange, but it's still got a fair amount of depth to it and kind of some other colors that are mixed in. And one thing I'm just gonna do, guys, I just am thinking about this. I need to add a little bit of, what color am I gonna get out? What do you think it is? Just a little phthalo blue here.
Yep. Knew it.
But don't you, I think that in the shadowy areas of the grass and the sunflowers, I think that phthalo blue will be kind of nice. So I'm gonna just grab a little bit right here. Depth and color. That's what I think about phthalo blue. It gives you both, gives you depth and color. Meaning the darker it gets, it still retains its vibrant kind of color.
Linda Wilson asks, on your last mountain painting, you used a medium first before starting with paint, and I missed that. Sorry to take us backward for a minute.
My last mountain painting? Not sure what you're referring to. Do you know what that's referring to, Peter?
No, I wasn't exactly sure either.
If you want to clarify a little bit more, I'll try to answer. I honestly can't think of what that's.
She says last Friday. Oh, she's talking about Friday Night Live, I think.
Oh.
The mountain painting Friday Night Live.
Huh. What was it?
I think. You don't use medium super often, though.
I honestly, yeah, I'm like,
it was the painting for that lady that was like.
Oh, that. Yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, and so now say the question again. That was for Lisa.
Yeah, she said that she thought you started with a medium, and she missed what the medium was.
Actually, I did not start with a medium. I just started with I toned the canvas, and so the canvas was wet with the just the paint and the water. Basically, I just had a tiny bit of water it was like kind of a wet paint, and
Yeah.
I just put it down everywhere. I'm sorry. It is a little bit different than what I'm saying. I did use this. It was fluid acrylics. It's transparent red iron oxide, and it was just the background. And it's
Yeah.
basically that would be like normal paint with a little bit of acrylic medium in it, just to thin it down. And so you're right. In essence, there was a little bit of medium in there. But I just poured it straight out of that. I didn't add anything extra to it. So I'm just thinking about the pattern here a little bit, and I'm hoping that I'm keeping things in the right place. That's one of my goals with this, is that I think sometimes it's easy for me to get stuff off a little bit of perspective. Like maybe I make something a little bit out of place, and it's okay generally, usually, but when you have a 30-minute countdown going, it can be kind of a bummer if you have to paint over too much. Transparent red iron oxide. Isn't that what I said? I believe so.
Yeah. Yeah, she asked that before you showed it, so.
Oh, okay.
SGD Studio says, "Hi, Jen, Peter. I've been watching you, and I noticed you always put the sky in towards the end. Do you ever put it in first?"
Yeah, only every once in a while. I want to start doing it more. I've always painted this other way, like basically since the beginning of my painting in acrylics. I've painted the sky late, and it's because of the effect that it gives. But
Yeah.
the reason that I was saying I kind of want to try is because of looking at what's that guy's name again? I forgot his name now, of course. Bill, great artist. I can't think of his last name right now. But anyways, he paints the sky first, and it allows you to do just different things, and you can still, like, I don't normally like the way that it looks, but after seeing his work, I'm like, oh, okay, like you can paint the sky first, and it can still, be a really dynamic and awesome looking painting. Because a lot of times when I see the sky painted first, it's a little bit, it just looks a little bit of like a plasticky kind of look, like stuff is just kind of stuck on top. It doesn't look quite as painterly, that kind of thing. But anyways, yeah, you can. And I think it's something I want to try to do a little bit more. But I'll probably never get away from what I do. I mean, I love the effect of painting the sky afterwards and just cutting things out.
Yeah, that's part of your style, so.
Yeah. How much time do I got here? Oh, I see. Okay. Peter, how I did that bigger painting in 30 minutes recently? Or, I was trying those little things.
Yeah.
That was kind of stressful, right? Like, because it's quite a bit more ground to cover. This feels easier, but I need to make sure that I don't get overconfident here. That's like what happens with me, is I always feel like whenever I think I've got lots of time, then I look up and I've got like 20 seconds left and I go, no, what just happened?
Yeah.
So we're going to get a little bit of this glow on the trees back here. That's my hope, is to get that feel of the sunlight.
And he says, love the way you made the flowers pop with the phthalo blue mix. Is that what you used?
What was did I use phthalo blue? Is that what the question was?
Yeah, I think so. With the phthalo blue mix. Yeah, he added phthalo blue to his canvas and then
I did, yeah. That was
or his palette.
yeah, the really cool kind of blue. I always think of it as more cool. It's funny. What I can say for sure is it leans towards green. I don't want to say too much about it other than that, because there's a lot of varying opinions on whether it's
Yeah.
cool or but yeah.
That creamy color is popping. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's you're watching the effect of painting the sky last right now.
Yeah. And we'll try to get some of these. I love like these little I don't know, the plants that are taller sitting up above, and
What size brush are you using, Jed?
oh, this is a number 6. And the other ones are, I mean, so far, pretty much I've used number 6 and number 4. So relatively small brushes here. But for the small canvas, they still will cover quite a bit of ground. That's it's kind of the fun thing about the small canvas. And we'll bring in a little bit more. This is almost a more pure phthalo. This will exaggerate that contrast even more. And sometimes I don't know if this will be great. So I just end up trying it, right? Because it's like, well, I don't really know. But worst case scenario is I have to go over this again, right? Which is worth it in my opinion. If I might stumble across something here that's like, oh yeah, I really liked what that phthalo blue did. It's totally worth it, right? Okay, let's get a little bit of. I did kind of feel bad afterwards after I chose this for my reference photo. For this, I was like, oh, this isn't the most fields and farms. It was just that for me, it was so like this night was so magical, and we were on a farm and walking around in the field. And so I was just like, I think in my mind that as a demonstration, it totally fit. But then when I thought about the subject matter, I was like, well, it's not exactly Fields and Farms, subject matter, but hopefully you guys will still enjoy this and get something out of it, and hopefully you won't hold it against me for too long.
Oh yeah, it's turned out great. Peter, Jed's hand is in perfect focus, but what he is painting is a little fuzzy. I think it's just
Yeah, it's not that.
it's not the focus or anything. Yeah, I think it's just the painting itself.
Yeah.
How did Jed decide what the tone of the canvas will be? Is it the complement to the yellow and the sunflowers?
No, it was just because I wanted it to be dark, and I like purple. I do like violet, like it's kind of a fun background color because it's dark, but it's colorful. It's like really got a lot of, I don't know, it kind of influences everything a bit, but it still isn't. I don't know, with the dark value, it still can really provide that contrast. Unlike, say like the red that I painted on for Friday Night Live, which is a great color. But sometimes I found if my color is really vibrant and not that dark, I'll end up feeling like I have to go around and cover more of it later. And I do feel like that some with violet, but not as much. It feels like it's a little bit easier in that way. And it is a compliment, like these colors are kind of nice in that it is complementary to this. So if I just can't take credit for that, it might have been subconscious, but it wasn't a real conscious choice. But I was talking about this. I'm actually teaching a workshop right now online. And we were talking about, because I did a demonstration, and I don't think I painted on purple, but I used some purple for my darks where there were some trees, and they were asking kind of similar questions like, oh, or at least observing how if you use these different colors, instead of just using green, it does something different, right? It acts like, just changes the feel of it, and it helps it be like feel like it's a little bit, I don't know, maybe it helps it feel like it's a little bit more abstract, or maybe it, just kind of feels more artsy. I don't know how to describe it, but I do think that, knowing this is kind of what we talk about. I talk about this quite a bit, but like your values are just way more important than the actual color that you use. So if you have dark down here in these shadow areas, it's not as important if it's green. It's more important that it's dark. So, was there violet in the scene that I'm looking at? No, I didn't really see it at all, but you don't have to. And you can still have the same effect in the design by keeping it dark. It just makes it maybe a little bit more fun to paint, or, so anyways, all that is an encouragement. Just say, hey, if you want to try something like that, don't be bound by the color that you see. Just think about the value that the color is, and see what would happen if you did something something that was outside of your norm. It might be really fun. Okay, I know I'm getting kind of short on time here. So I'm going to just do a little bit of the highlights around the edges of things.
Darby LaGrave says it looks like a farm to me, and I'm a farm girl. So
Oh, good.
there you go.
Good. I'm glad it cut. It fit.
Yeah. Lisa Raymer says, "You make this come live. I'm excited to try to paint it later today."
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is a fun little picture here.
Make sure to post it in the community when you're done,
Oh, okay.
so everybody can see it. Oh, well, you and Lisa. It's mainly talking to Lisa.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Share with the world.
Yeah, absolutely. Get it out there. And down here, I'm really just thinking about abstract shapes. You can tell I'm not really trying to paint too much, but I want it to kind of make sense, or at least like feel plausible. Okay, 55 seconds. I knew I had this feeling and I needed to look up. That's not the brush I want. Dang it, not now. Not now. When I need a brush, I can't find a brush. There we go. I've got like 3 brushes in my hand, but they're all dirty. Oh my goodness. 3, 2, 1. Okay, there's time. So I don't know if my last little things that I just did help, but I was getting so nervous there. Oh man. Okay. Well, fun little painting, right, guys? That was a fun time. And I think that I feel pretty good about this. I see a few things that I could just clean up a little bit. I think the shape of this right here, I would just try to clean that up a little bit, make it a little bit better of a kind of a, I don't know, something that's a little bit more oval or accurate. And I don't know, but I like it in general. So yay. Good job, everybody. Okay, so the next thing is some Q&A here. So does anybody have any questions for us? Do we have anything going on that we want to have answered? Yeah. Very fun. I will paint this just to practice getting those values of orange. Yes, exactly. I know. Well, what I love, I mean, this is like what I love about painting. And I love honestly, I'm very comfortable painting on dark, but one of the things that I like is if you have a dark background, when you put on your first coat of the orange or whatever the lighter color is here, because the background's so dark, it makes that first coat, as long as it's not like super, super thick, it actually like makes that first coat dark. So it's not the orange that it is at the very end when I put it on. And what I really like about that is that it kind of lends itself to what you were just talking about. Those values of the orange, you get this deeper value that's down there, which is like the first coat. And then as you add more yellowy oranges on top of it, you can pull out kind of towards the top of the value scale more. And you just get that variety in there. And I really love that. Okay, I see a question. Are the centers of your flowers straight Mars black or a mix of? So it was a mix of Mars black and a little bit of orange. I had a kind of a little bit of a warmer color in there. Brushes, what size do you use for larger canvases, 11 by 14 and up? Basically, I generally use from a size 16, which is this right here. If I'm painting a 12 by 16, I'm probably going to be using 10 a lot, and maybe, but I'll still use my 6s and 4s. The main stem has similar highlights on the east and west side. You changed yours to the west is brighter. I love it, and I love purples. Oh, thanks so much. Yeah, I don't know how intentional changing the highlights was, but because I did put a little highlight, but it wasn't as dark over there. Oops, touched that. I'm glad that you loved it. And purple is a fun color. I love a tutorial on how to mix paint on the palette. Seems I waste paint trying to get the right value. Oh, that's a really good thought. So one of the things, you know how if you see Diana, and often I will do it too, I'll have a mix already made of green right here. So like just grabbing some of this and mixing up a green, and then you have a larger pile of green here. And then you are just mixing small gradations in between. And what I really love about that is how you know where to go for different colors. And then if you can add white and make it a little bit lighter, add black or something else to get a little bit darker. But you might try just mixing smaller amounts there. I'm not totally sure, but that might be something that you could work on. Okay, I'm going back. KJ, Kevin, you said maybe a weird question. Went to an art gallery yesterday and was looking at how folks signed their work. My name is long. Is it cool to just use initials, do you think? Oh, that's a really good question. And I would say don't just use your initials unless you're somehow able to convey who you are more than that. Like maybe just use your last name. But you want people to see your work and be able to find you later, right? Like otherwise, say your work is in a gallery, somebody comes in, they love it, they aren't able to buy it right then, and then they walk away and they just saw KJ and they're looking for artists named KJ. It would be impossible for them to find you. And it would be a lot harder. I do not think you should try to make it a perfect oval shape. Okay, good. Did you not paint the right stem to not draw the eye away? I don't know. Like sometimes stuff just happens. Like that's why Bob Ross said happy mistakes, right? We don't make mistakes. We just have happy accidents. I mean, it's just a happy accident for me, honestly. We'll use the leftover paint still back to the box or on another palette. Oh, I'll just keep painting with this. Yeah, I don't throw it out for sure. So Peter, is that you? You're on there a second time. Yeah. So Pete, when I paint a small painting, I'll use my initials every once in a while if it's like really hard for me to sign that small. But I've found that like the general idea is, like so Mike's Fob, he just signs Fob. Now his last name is pretty unique and he always signs it in red. I almost have never seen him sign it in a different color or anything like that. But if you have a last name or something that is recognizable enough, I think you can get away with it. Or if you have a first name that's recognizable enough, but it's just if you want people to be able to find you. If you were to expand this from 6x6 to 12x12, would you have put more detail in the foreground? Yeah, probably. I probably would have had to. But I still would have tried to keep it fairly abstract because I don't see a ton of detail. I took that picture and then I cropped it down, and so it's kind of blurry if you get the actual reference photo big, and it's dark down there, and I don't know how much actual detail is necessary. But yes, every time you kind of blow something up, you have to figure out how to make it look good on that size. Okay. Yes. Okay, when you're done with, do you try to scrape those piles of paint off your palette and save them? Oh yeah, somebody just asked that, but no, I'm just gonna keep using this. I've got other paintings that I'll use, and if I have too much of a mess in the middle where I need clean areas, I'll scrape that off and I will kind of start over that way. But the main piles for sure I keep unless I'm kind of done and there's hardly anything on there, and then I just will scrape it all and start over. Nancy Bolton Rawls is a really long name for a signature, especially on small paintings. Should I just use a maiden name, you think? Oh yeah, I mean, or yeah, maybe. My sister for a long time just used her first name and her middle name. But again, I think it was I think whatever you do, just like think long term. What do you want to be recognized at? And then like try to, if you're trying to sell, if you're trying to be out there, try to make your website and everything be very coordinated. So like you're not saying one thing in one place and then you're signing your paintings differently. And then if people are looking for you, in a gallery, it's anything else. Like just try to be really consistent with it. That's what I think the most important thing is. I'm sticking with initials until I'm beyond the beginner stage. Then I'll tackle my 12-letter last name. Yeah. I mean, there's nothing wrong. You guys can do whatever you want to do. Never mistake just an incredible or an opportunity to create. Yes, exactly, DJ. Signature in your statement about the gram encroaching. How far up from the bottom do you sign? Oh, the frame. Yeah. Oh, that's a very good question. Like I never put, if it's a painting that's going to be framed, I always try to move it up, and sometimes I might sign on this side. I've seen, you see people sign up here or up here every once in a while, but you definitely want to make sure that you're thinking about how big the frame is going to overlap. And you don't want to put it like right on the edge of that. You want to give yourself a little bit of space there. Oh, okay. Yeah, Tony. Yeah, sorry. I see that. Curious about choice of black. And then there's another one. Yeah, ultramarine and burnt sienna. So I use black because it's easy, and I've never had a problem. And the first instructor, Mike's Fob, that I had, he used black, so it just was something that I did. I don't think I need to. Like I have at different times used ultramarine blue and burnt sienna to mix a black, but it's not quite as dark. And I've also seen burnt umber used to mix with that. I think it's burnt umber, and it creates a really dark. And also, like if you have like something like phthalo blue or phthalo green mixed with something like a dark magenta, it creates a really, really dark violet kind of black. But it's really dark, and I like those too. I use Mars black because honestly, it's not. It has to do with it being more opaque than transparent. Ivory black is more transparent, and if you're like for me, sometimes I might be trying to paint the edge of a painting so that it will, like if it's like this, I'm not going to frame this. I'm just going to paint the edge, and I usually do that with black, and Mars black is the best black to cover. Ivory black takes several coats. It's a real bummer. Thank you. I'm glad it was fun, Catherine. I love the color combinations in this mini. Yeah, it was fun. Keep the scrape offs to make Vancouver gray. Yes, Andrea, that's a really awesome idea. Is like, yes, you can mix your stuff that's left over and mix it into a pile, and you'll have a neutral gray usually. That's really kind of fun. Sometimes I abbreviate on the front, but also sign on the back and put my website address. Yeah, I mean, that's a good idea too. I think you just want to make sure that if somebody is interested and wants to find you, that there's a way that they can do that. Diana and you both have used a tool other than a brush for mixing and adding paint to canvases. So it's called well, shoot, I think it's called a shaper tool, and it's just like kind of rubber. It's kind of like a normal paintbrush. Obviously, it kind of looks like one, but they made it with this flexible kind of rubber end, and it's kind of cool. And you can get them in different sizes. Is that, what is it called? Like a scraper? Yeah, okay. In oils, sap green and alizarin crimson make a beautiful dark. Yeah, there's some really great color combinations. And like Diana mixes, I think it's like maybe, and that blue that she has, anthrin, I don't know what it's called, something. And she mixes a really, really beautiful dark color with that. Will you be adding any green to this later? I did add a little bit of green up here. maybe, depends. Liked your photo, but love your interpretation even more. I love your color choices. Oh, good. I'm glad, Kim. Thanks for the encouragement. Blick sells them. Blick sells something. I don't know what you're referring to. Such a good lesson. I have a love for purple, Nancy, you say, and teal. What would you mix for a teal blue, or would you purchase teal? Oh, shoot. Well, I would totally just use phthalo blue and a little bit of cadmium yellow light or something like that with white. That'd be what I'd do, and I'd see what I can do, because a lot of times, like I'm trying to think where I have it. Let's see. Okay, so I have this cobalt turquoise light, right? This is teal. But if you look at the colors, oh, now that is very interesting to me. That's crazy. Because this is actually just one color, which totally surprises me. Totally surprises me. Because honestly, almost every color that you get like this is just a mix of different colors. So like this color right here, it's just called light blue. But it's just phthalo blue, titanium white, and phthalo green put together. So a lot of times when you buy a color that you think is going to be really cool and helpful, and you love the color like this, it's actually just a mix of, like, I was imagining that this was going to be cobalt blue, some kind of yellow and white. It turns out that it's actually its own pigment, which maybe every once in a while there's one that's really worth buying, but a lot of times you can mix your own. Okay. Oh, Color Shaper, that's the official name. Yeah, there you go. Oh, okay, yeah, I see. Thank you, AU. I am rejuvenated and ready to paint a happy sunflower. Oh, good. Yay.
That's so cool. That's awesome.
Okay, I really like the purple against the yellow orange and the suggestion of clouds. Yeah, I mean, you know what, guys? One thing that's so cool, and I'm so glad to be able to share this picture with you, is like, even though it wasn't, maybe the best field or whatever, but one thing is that you see, like, for me, there's an emotional connection to this because of the experience that I had, and I hope that when you see it come to life, it can create a little bit of that emotional experience for you, and then when you paint it, you can see that and it can come through. But boy, when you look around, just for today, tomorrow, whatever, wherever you're at, I encourage you, look around at the world around you and try to notice something really beautiful, like today, tomorrow, and the next day. Just like look around and see, what can you see that is beautiful, that if you just could pause for just a little bit, take a deep breath, observe, and just be thankful for the beauty that's around you. I think it's about time, guys. Let's see. I can take one more question and then it's time to go. I mix a phthalo blue and a phthalo green, very strong pigments. Martha Jacobs says, did you guys ever hook up with Delta Art and Drafting Supplies in Canada? I'd love to have you get credit when I buy my supplies online here. Oh, in the boutique. Oh, no, I never have connected with them. Peter, what do you want to say to our friends?
Not much, except thank you for being here, and we hope that was encouraging and inspiring, and that it, bolsters you to go on and do your own works of art and stuff like that. And yeah, you guys are amazing.
And just as a kind of final word here, remember next week we've got Farley Lewis interview and demonstration, which is going to be super cool. Then we got our amazing Vanish Shine doing a workshop on the 19th. We've got the video critiques are going to be dropped into the product on the 26th, and then we have our final celebration and prizes and all that kind of good stuff on November 30th. That is a Tuesday, so make sure you mark your calendars for that one because it's going to be a little bit out of the norm. But guys, we love you. We believe in you. We're so proud of you. We're so thankful for you. Go and have an awesome day and a great weekend. We love you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.